Hello and welcome back to the Charles Squared podcast. My name is Charlie Mason.
And I'm Charles Iverson. Welcome back, everybody.
So we've got a pretty exciting episode ahead of you guys. We're gonna be looking at and breaking down the fifth and sixth episodes of WandaVision, and a lot happened. So
Yes.
Charles, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. So the fifth episode was probably one of the best episodes, in my opinion. It felt like a lot of stuff happened. Not necessarily too much
Yeah.
was revealed, but a lot of stuff happened. The sixth episode was also pretty great, but again, not too much was revealed. Actually, I don't think really anything was revealed in that episode. And not too much happened plot wise either, but we saw some cool stuff in that episode.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of difficult to compare the two. The fifth episode was really the build of the first four episodes, and I feel like the sixth is playing the role of laying the groundwork for the big finale that we're all expecting. So,
Yes, yeah, I think you're right about that. I think the cool thing about the sixth episode was the very end when Wanda expanded the hex, which I did not see coming, and I think this could be setting up perhaps maybe a nationwide takeover of the hex, maybe
that's
even to statewide.
interesting.
I don't know. Like I think it could
Maybe.
cover a larger and larger area throughout the rest of the series.
I kind of want to go out of order and expand on that.
Okay,
So let's go. Let's kind of work backwards. Why not? Most recent, last week's episode. Let's
sure.
kind of work backwards. So when you mentioned her expanding the hex, um, something that I noticed, something that a lot of people noticed, especially Vision noticed, was that people on the outer rim of the town seemed to be kind of dormant, not moving.
Yeah. So I think that's directly connected to Wanda. I think, she's strong, but I think she's not quite strong enough to be able to keep everybody in this sitcom state all at once. So the people out on the outskirts of town, although they look like they're playing the part, they're really just remaining dormant, like the children have probably been this whole time. They're just frozen in time or barely moving at all. But I think it has to do with Wanda's location within the hex. I think as she gets closer to them, they like start to liven up more and more. But the farther away you get from Wanda, the more you're just in this dormant state.
That's an interesting theory. I agree with the fact that I think it's because Wanda's not going to be able to. She's not going to be able to hold all that power at once and kind of put on this show 24/7. But I am interested, now that we've reached that conclusion, to see how her expanding the hex and bringing in a lot of new people, expanding the radius. What would you say, like five, two and a half, like 3 miles?
I don't know. It's really hard to say. I mean, if we're talking
Yeah,
about diameter wise, probably the diameter expanded by at least 2 to 3 miles. It's hard to say though. They didn't
right,
give us like
right.
a good perception of when it actually stopped expanding. We just saw it
Yes.
expanded past the sword base, which turned into a carnival, which is kind of
I think
interesting.
that's creative,
Yeah.
and I think that was definitely done for a reason, because now we're moving out of the '90s and into the 2000s, right?
Yeah, actually, while we're talking about that, I just want to say I think it was so like creative how they did the sitcom styles in the sixth episode. Like it definitely felt very distinct from the other episodes. Like it still felt like a sitcom, but it was a very different style as you know the show progresses. So I thought that was pretty cool.
No, yeah, I definitely thought it was very interesting. It gave off and then in the fifth and sixth episode, we kind of got the feel for Full House. We got a little flashback from
Yeah,
Elizabeth Olsen,
yeah,
right?
that's a show I haven't
She
seen.
wasn't in it, but
Um,
oh, really?
Yeah, but yeah, I thought the flashback to their Sokovian childhood when they go trick or treating, I thought that was actually hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. So moving on, we've covered the edge of the town. This hex expanding, the circus being formed. But a couple key characters actually escaped. Agent Wu got away. Darcy, unfortunately, did not. And that was kind of the comic relief we needed at the end of a heartfelt
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, I want to see what
Uh,
happens to Darcy when she's inside the hex.
yeah, it's
Like,
going to be interesting what character she turns
yeah, I wonder
into.
if she'll kind of be like Monica, where like Wanda recognized that she didn't belong there. Or, now that I'm thinking about it, how will she treat like any of the people working for Sword?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. Another thing I wanted to mention, this kind of has to deal with Monica Rambo a little bit, but we got another mention at Captain Marvel in the sixth episode.
Oh, did we? I don't remember.
I'm pretty
What
sure it
happened?
was the director, Hayward,
Let's see.
who said, "I know you were friends with Carol Danvers,
Oh,
but
right. Yes, I remember that now.
yes." So that's That's the second shot they've taken at Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I
Um,
think they could be setting her up to have an appearance in this show, even though,
I'm hoping.
yeah, I don't think any reports have indicated that she will be in the show, but they certainly do seem to be dropping her name a lot. So they're either setting her up for a role in this show or I don't know, something in the future. Obviously, I think it is confirmed there will be a Captain Marvel too, but it seems like they're setting
Yes, there
up
was.
something bigger than that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So actually, now that we're talking about Captain Marvel, I just wanted to bring this up. There have been a lot of theories about maybe Doctor Strange playing a role in this TV show. There have been, there's been speculation about Captain Marvel playing a role. Out of the two, in your opinion, who do you think is more likely to be able to calm down and control Wanda? Doctor Strange or Captain Marvel?
Well, for me, I think the answer would obviously be Doctor Strange. Well, actually, would it? Okay, my initial thought for that was because she doesn't really know Captain Marvel at all. Like, I don't think the two have ever personally met. Like, they've seen each other on the battlefield, but they've never met to our knowledge. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if Wanda or Doctor Strange have met either. The only reason, really, I guess, why I think Doctor Strange might be more likely is because we know Wanda will be in Doctor Strange 2. But I
Yes.
don't know if there's any reason story wise that they've given us so far why Doctor Strange would be more likely to show up because within the context of the show, he hasn't been mentioned at all, and Captain Marvel has at least twice.
Yes. Yeah, you make a good point there. Um, I'm gonna go Doctor Strange. Yeah, I think Doctor Strange is probably more likely to to stop her. I don't know if he's more likely to show up. I think that'd be pretty cool. But again, they have been building to Captain Marvel making an appearance over Doctor Strange, which is just I'm just interested to see how that plays out and what becomes the result of this bubble that Wanda has created.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move backwards even further. So we've shifted out of episode 6. I want to get into a little bit of episode 5 because episode 5 had a lot going on.
It
And
really
let's
did.
let's start from the end. Quicksilver.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't see that coming. Well, in the words of Quicksilver from Age of Ultron, you didn't see that coming. Remember that
Exactly.
line?
Exact. Yes, I do.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, that's probably what they wanted audiences to feel during that moment. I
Yeah.
think there were like some articles I saw like saying he was gonna be in it, but like there was no real evidence to back that up. So when he showed up, it was still a huge shock to me. I mean, I really wanted to know, like, obviously it wasn't the same actor who played him in Age of Ultron. I wanted to know, like, is this literally just a recast, or is this supposed to be a Quicksilver from the multiverse? Because obviously it's the same actor who played him in the X-Men universe from Fox. And the sixth episode, disappointingly, in my opinion, didn't really give us answers to that.
I am gonna Quicksilver. This guy, part of X Men. We've seen him in X Men before, but I don't know if he's part of the multiverse. If he is from X-Men. Let's think about it. So, for those listeners who are unaware, Magneto from the X-Men series is the father of Wanda and Pietro. Okay, so we've established their relationship. They built it up more in the fifth episode and the sixth episode. So the House of M is created because of Wanda not being able to control her powers, or being too rash with her powers, which is exactly what we're seeing right now.
Yes.
Which leads me to ask the question, will the House of M be a result of the WandaVision season 1?
You know, honestly, I don't know that much about the House of M storyline, but what I do know is that I'm pretty sure it results in her getting rid of all of the mutants. But I don't think it'll be exactly that, because we haven't been introduced to any mutants in the MCU so far, besides Wanda and Quicksilver. So it wouldn't really have that much of an effect.
But they were kind of said to be the first two mutants, in a way.
Yeah.
In the Age of Ultron, the Sokovian experiments on them, they were the first of their kind to be experimented on, besides Steve Rogers, obviously.
Right.
The first in the MCU to be experimented on, which leads me to another, not a question, but kind of a prediction, an early prediction. I believe that X-Men, now that we realize that Wanda is it's occurring right now in the present.
Yes.
I feel like X-Men takes place in the future. So, in the sense that WandaVision is happening right now, X-Men takes place 20 years from now.
Okay.
So
hold on.
Avengers is kind of.
I want to ask you something. So are you saying like they're going to introduce the X-Men into the MCU in the future, or are you saying?
I feel like it's gonna bleed into it.
So are you saying there's going to be some time travel involved?
Well, there already was time travel. We saw the time travel in. Have you seen all the X-Men?
Oh yes.
So there was time travel with Charles and Magneto, the younger versions of themselves.
Right.
And in those younger versions of themselves, that's when we were introduced to Quicksilver.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And if we're seeing Quicksilver now, what's stopping us from seeing Quicksilver 5 years from now, from when that X-Men movie actually takes place? It would make sense, right?
Yes.
So the first half of the X-Men movies take place with an old Magneto and an old Charles Xavier.
Yes.
The kind of prequels or the time travel take place with the younger of the two.
Right.
And in the younger series, Quicksilver's introduced. Which is kind of what I'm leading to. What if the House of M is created right after WandaVision, and that's where X-Men picks up, and Quicksilver's alive, and we meet him in WandaVision, and then he goes over to the X-Men. Then he's recruited.
Okay, so
It's a stretch. I'm trying to make a bunch of connections here just so you can better understand it. But
I want to clarify something. Are you saying, so you think that the Quicksilver we see in WandaVision is the same one from the X-Men movies?
yes.
Okay, gotcha.
But he hasn't been in the X-Men movies yet.
Okay.
I feel like Wanda cast the kid that is Quicksilver in her bubble, and he doesn't know that he has these powers outside of the bubble.
Oh, okay. I see what you're getting at here now. Okay, I was confused, but I get it now. Okay.
So she cast this random person who she is technically related to. He doesn't know it, she doesn't know it, but some part of her subconscious does. And that's why he's in the show. That's why he's playing Quicksilver.
Okay.
And when he gets out of it, that's how he realizes. Because when he's first recruited in the X-Men, he's kind of like a troublemaker. He's basically the same character he is in the bubble.
Yeah.
but he's not really a part of a team or anything. It's kind of like these abilities were thrown at him out of nowhere, and he's trying to adapt and live with them. And I feel like that's what's going to happen when he's out of the bubble, when he's released.
So do you think then that the X-Men timeline from the Fox movies is the same timeline then?
Maybe. I'm saying there's a possibility, and I'm definitely gonna get called back on this. There definitely somebody's gonna say like, "Oh yeah, well they said this in this movie and that movie." Something that I didn't pay attention to that they caught on to is gonna point me in another direction.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm saying maybe.
Well, let me be honest.
Maybe it
Let me
is.
be honest with you, Charlie. I really don't think that that's a possibility because he references getting shot in the sixth episode. Quicksilver
Yeah.
references getting shot down in Age of Ultron, which at that point he already is aware of his powers. So I feel like,
But he's also underneath Wanda's spell.
well, that is a good point there.
We'll have to see if this isn't the same universe. If MCU and X-Men don't take place in the same timeline, then maybe he and Doctor Strange work together and they're the key to getting to a separate unit, like getting to the X-Men timeline.
Maybe. For me, though, I don't know if it's the same Quicksilver from Age of Ultron. Like, I think because it's the same actor, I think it could be like the same Quicksilver from the X Men movies, but like it's also possible he's just an illusion, that Wanda isn't causing. Like, I think we shouldn't completely ignore that possibility, but
Yeah, but
the
I feel
thing
like
is,
if he was an illusion, he wouldn't have been the guy that plays him now. He would have been the original from Age of Ultron.
yeah, no, yeah, you've got a point there. But I want to point
Maybe
out
he's from a different universe then.
that's true, but
Oh,
for me, it's the
whoa,
gunshots and the
whoa.
shot wounds that we
Hold
see
on.
that make me think that probably isn't the case.
It's a figment of her imagination.
Well, I don't think he's a figment of her imagination. I think someone, whatever higher power is controlling this, because I don't think Wanda is completely in control, and I think you agree with me there. I think
Yeah.
whoever is putting that in her mind because, well, okay, so it's something Quicksilver says at the beginning of the sixth episode, like, "Hey, I can be a father figure," because Vision, I think, kind of has really no interest in still being here at this point. And so I think
Clearly.
Quicksilver, yeah. And so I think Quicksilver was sent to kind of replace him as like the father figure to Wanda's children to keep her happy because for some reason she needs to be kept inside of there.
Okay. I don't know if he was sent to be a father figure.
Well, I don't know. It's just
I
something
feel like he was
says at
sent to be
beginning
the
of
old,
sixth
like
episode.
the old, like the uncle, like the friendly uncle that lets him do whatever they want. I feel like that's the relationship he's kind of building with him right now. Maybe not a
Yeah.
father figure,
Yeah, you're right.
but
That might be a stretch.
I feel like maybe this is again going back to my theory about the X-Men being somehow intertwined and a part of this whole WandaVision experiment is that she pulled him from another timeline. She pulled that Pietro's dead. His body is probably incinerated somewhere under the ground. He's probably matter now. He's in the soil. He's not
Yeah.
there. His body is not there. Vision's was. She took Vision's body and stole him.
Yeah.
So that's why Vision, like she could see Vision being dead. Like she could
Well,
see
she
this,
saw
like the
she saw
stone.
Pietro
No,
dead
but that's
too
what I'm
in
getting
this
to.
episode.
That's what I'm getting to. She saw Pietro dead. But I feel like that one, seeing him dead, wasn't exact because in reality, Pietro's body would not still be intact. He's been dead for a while. I feel like she is kind of the key between timelines. And that's why she's going to be in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. She's the key between the two alternate timelines, and she was so powerful that she replaced him with this Quicksilver guy.
Yeah.
So she was like, okay, where's my brother? He's not here. Let's take this guy from another timeline. And I am not too familiar on Quicksilver's death in X-Men,
Oh, I don't
but
think
I'm
he dies in the
they don't show
WandaVision.
it.
Yeah, he's probably not actually dead yet in that timeline. So, okay, even though WandaVision has been jumping decades within the Hex, we know that in the real world, it's taking place in either 2023 or 2024. Um, I don't know exactly, but because it's taking place then, like in real life, and Quicksilver would be alive in the X-Men universe, I think there is some truth to what you're saying. I think like it's hard to gauge exactly what's happening because nothing really makes complete sense, but I'm sure they'll have a perfectly reasonable explanation when the time comes.
Yeah. I mean, I hope because I've been speculating for a while and I'm just getting off track.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that led to a great conversation. So let's break down, let's do a little speed run, break down a couple of key things that we saw that happened in episode 5
Yeah, sure.
that could lead to the development of the rest of the show. So the first thing I want to point out, and I don't want to elaborate too much on these, but the dog that they have, the dog that they get in the 5th episode, that the kids convince Wanda, like they age themselves. The dog knows about the drone entering the bubble before Wanda does, which I think is interesting because I don't see that many. I haven't seen that many animals in this bubble,
Yeah, I think
right?
Sparky may be actually the only one.
So Sparky sees this drone, and later in the episode, he's killed. So
Yeah.
he notices the drone before Wanda does, and that makes me think maybe if you send an animal through the portal, they won't be affected in any way.
Yeah. That actually might be the case.
Still,
Now that I'm
still,
thinking about it, there was a rabbit in the 2nd episode, but that rabbit didn't really do anything. So,
right. Okay. So then Vision actually helps us out with this one. He notices how suddenly when something is needed, it immediately appears. For example, Vision pointing out, "Oh, have you noticed, honey, that whenever we need something, just like the snap of your fingers, it's there." And he's like we need a doghouse right now. And Agnes walks in through the back door with a doghouse, and he's like, perfect timing.
yeah, like
This is
he definitely knew
yes,
something was up going into the 5th episode, and then by the end of the 5th episode, he knew Wanda was doing something. Still not the specifics of it though. Then in the 6th episode, you
yes,
see him going behind her back to investigate, which I really love what they're doing with Vision in the show. Like even though he's dead, like because Wanda sort of brought him back to life, like he does have this cool storyline where like he is kind of playing detective, trying to figure this out from the inside, while meanwhile on the outside, Jimmy Woo, Monica Rambeau, and Darcy are trying to figure out what's going on.
right, right. Another thing I wanted to point out: the aging of the twins. We've been seeing it for a couple of episodes now, and I'm thinking back to Charles's theory from the first WandaVision episode we did of a higher power kind of wanting to take the children away. That this aging could be influenced by the power controlling the bubble to get the kids to grow up faster so that they can strip them away from Wanda. That was
Yeah,
just I saw that and I thought it connected to your theory. So I just wanted to point that out.
yeah. I about that though, I'm not quite sure I believe that theory anymore. I mean, it may still
Yeah,
be
no,
true,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
think like there's a lot of things that happened since then because we have seen there actually are kids in Westview. They were just dormant, so I'm not
right,
sure that theory really makes much sense anymore. But
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, yeah. But it's still interesting.
Yeah,
And the final question that I want to ask you is: everyone in Westview dead?
yeah. So I think that this could be the case because of not only Vision. Well, we see Vision is actually just a corpse that like Wanda has reanimated, but we see this with Pietro too, which it may not have been the exact same thing with Pietro, but he could be somehow a corpse as well. But that got me thinking, what if everyone in Westview is actually a corpse, and by creating this little reality inside the hex, maybe Wanda was actually saving them from death. Maybe she chose Westview on purpose because there was some catastrophe that happened there, like right before this whole thing started. And she was like, okay, this is the perfect place. This way I won't have to interrupt anybody's lives to do this.
That's actually very interesting. That's a
Yeah.
very good
But
theory.
but
But
I I
yeah,
I also think it's important not to forget about this missing persons case that was brought up in the fourth episode. How does that tie into it? So if everyone in Westview is
yes.
dead, I'm not quite sure that would tie into the whole missing person thing. But it's just a thought.
Also, the background they did on the characters, they were all from different areas of the war, like of the U.S. Right? Am I
Were
right
they?
in saying that? I thought so. I thought like so and so's from here, so and so's from here, so and so's. If
I
not, then
don't
I'm
remember
wrong.
that.
I'll have to rewatch that part and get back to you guys. But I do want to mention one more thing. Agnes, when Vision, does his little Vision thing and manipulates Agnes's mind like he did Norm's, she breaks, and we see the real Agnes for the first time. Obviously, Agnes, I don't think that's a real name, but we see her, and the line that she says that I think is really interesting and kind of leads to a lot of speculation is, "Oh my God, aren't you an Avenger? Can you help us?"
Yeah. I To be honest with you, I think Agnes may have been faking it. And
That's what I
cuz
was thinking. Yeah,
yeah, she the obviously throughout that episode you see like people towards the outskirts of town have varying degrees of movement, but everyone by where Agnes was not moving at all. And she was able to just drive away. I think something's up with Agnes. Something was suspicious about her from the very beginning of the show, and now I think they really want us to think that she's just a part of it like everyone else, but she's clearly not just one of the regular citizens because she has a much larger role in the show than that.
yeah, I completely agree. I wasn't necessarily going to go to say that she was a big part of it, but I did find it kind of interesting that she was like so shocked. And Darcy pointed out something that Darcy said connected to what Agnes said. Darcy was like, "Wait, I'm not like tripping here, but isn't he dead?" So it was publicly known that Vision is dead.
Yeah.
And when Agnes says, "Wait, aren't you an Avenger?" she doesn't even question the fact that Vision's dead.
No, well, she doesn't say that right away, but then she asks, "Am I dead?" And then
Oh,
Vision
right,
goes,
right,
"Why
right,
would you
right,
say
right.
that?" "Because you are." Like,
Yeah, I'm dumb. Yeah, but yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but she doesn't question it right away, so I think maybe she was maybe trying to cover her tracks by saying that. I don't
I'm
know.
not sure. Yeah, that was very confusing interaction.
Yeah. Hopefully
Yeah, so yeah.
hopefully they expand upon that more.
I hope, man. There's a lot going on. I know we didn't get to everything. There's so much that happened in season one. The finale of that's just gonna be incredible.
Yeah, I think we've
Um,
still got a couple more episodes before the finale. I could be wrong though.
I hope it's three. We're looking at three more. I
I
think they
Yeah, I
confirmed it was
think
going to be
so.
9 episodes.
Yeah,
So we've
sounds
got
right.
7, 8, and 9 left to close this thing out. Um, yeah,
Yeah, so that is our second episode on WandaVision. I hope you guys are enjoying it. If not, we will be moving on to other topics soon enough. We will
yes.
probably be doing, well, let's see here. I don't know, at least
Falcon and the
one
Winter
more.
Soldier.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
we'll
one more
yeah.
WandaVision. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll be looking at. I'll have to check the release dates on some of these things, but a lot of new TV shows are coming out, so
Yeah.
we're going to be
We'll
looking at
probably
all that,
uh
trying to connect the
we'll
dots.
probably cover Justice League, the Zack
Snyder
Snyder
cut,
cut.
yeah. Yeah, and something I actually want to announce, just to hold us accountable. We were thinking about starting a blog of some sort, and I want to follow through with that. So I'm gonna put it out there. We are looking into it right now, just to give you guys some more content in between these bi-weekly episodes, just to keep you guys up to date and have a little more interaction.
Yes.
So yeah,
And I know we did announce, like, I don't know, a month or two ago that we were going to start releasing YouTube original content, and that probably will be coming someday, but we're going to put that on hold just for a little bit while we start working on this blog, because I think that is something that we really want to start on.
yeah, yeah. So if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. I want to give a quick shout out to my people in Indy. If you're listening, thank you for spreading the word. Much love, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, see you guys next week. Thank you, people in Indy. I didn't know about this.